external grievances means the grievances from the stakeholders, external stakeholders. Like in case of power grid, the external stakeholders are financial analysts, financial management persons, and then the land trustees, which we from which we get the land for substations and transmission lines. And if the number of external grievances are increasing, then we'll have to do something in HR. These are the warning signals. Similarly, for lesser adaptation to newer technologies or digitization. So these are all sensing the organization at present and taking the corrective action for long-term invisible threats. So coming back to my own topic, that is the HR and ecological intelligence. We may be knowing about the HR very much, but the ecological intelligence, what is the ecological intelligence? The term was basically coined by Daniel Goleman, and he wrote the book about the ecological intelligence. And what is ecological intelligence? It is, just a minute. Sorry about it. So what is ecological intelligence? Is awareness of how your actions affect the world around you. That is the collective ability to understand the human impact on ecosystem. And it is the understanding about the interplay between the natural and man-made worlds. And the HR interventions can be designed in such a way to take care of the planet's sustainability, which covers human concerns like societal results of workers' conditions, health and safety issues, land hostage issues, which we discussed earlier, and the rehabilitation plans, like in the case of hydel projects, or even in the case of thermal plants, or in the case of power grids, and that is the construction of substations. We get a lot of land hostages, and we'll have to cover their societal values and what we can do to rehabilitate them. And even in the case of road construction or railhead infrastructure constructions, these kind of issues come very frequently. And the receding of glaciers due to global warming, then the giving special corridors to wild animals. These are all ecological concerns. These concerns can be categorized in three parts. It includes learning the impact of various products and processes on geosphere, then the biosphere, and the sociosphere. The geosphere covers the environmental impact, what kind of impact our organization is doing on the environment. Suppose thermal plants, they are generating too much pollution, if they have the pollution control mechanism in their plants or not. Or even in the case of power grid also, if we are deploying too much of transmission towers in the countryside, is it going to affect the flying birds or wild animals in the forest area? These are all environmental impact. And the impact on the biological side also, that is the impact on the biosphere. And the third impact is on the sociosphere, social impact. That is the impact which we are going to do on the general conditions of the employees and the surrounding areas. So nowadays, a lot of talking is being done about the ESG. ESG is environmental, social, and governance. Environmental part covers the climate change strategy, biodiversity, water efficiency, energy, carbon, environmental management systems, all the things about the environment. And the social things covers about the employees and the surrounding areas or the society, the equal opportunities, freedom of association, health and safety, human rights, customers and responsibility, product responsibility, child labor. Even I think 10 days back, I was going through one meeting of ESG being conducted by PwC. They were talking about the equal opportunity to LGBT communities also. So they are going ahead with all inclusion of all the kind of minorities, or the sections of the society in the organization. Even we discussed about whether we should go for categorization of employees in the on the sexual gender basis or sex basis or the LGBT basis in PSUs also or not. Even in the private sector, they are going for it, but in PSUs, it will be depending upon the government guidelines in this regard. And the third aspect is the governance, the business ethics, what we are going to achieve in the longer run, the compliances, the board independence, and executive compensation. The ecological concerns which we are talking about in this session is the first two slides. That first two columns, basically environmental and social aspects. So a lot of agencies are there which assesses the organizations on environmental, social, and governance aspects. So ESG reporting, it is being part of all the reporting system in the even in the annual report also. A report published by a company or organization about the environmental, social, governance effects, then it enables the company to be more transparent about the risk and opportunities it faces. It talks about the investors and stakeholders. It gives input to the investors and stakeholders. They assess the organization, whether the organization is sustainable or going for a sustainable studies or not. Then ESG reporting encompasses both qualitative disclosures about the environmental, social, and governance aspects and the quantitative metrics also. What are these matrices? We can cover in the next slide. These are the matrices. The environmental pillar takes care of climate change, carbon emissions. In most of the cases in the organization, we don't foresee ourselves beyond our boundaries, like making profit or making the turnover or giving good performance related to pay to our employees. But we don't talk about the climate change, what we are going to affect, how are we going to affect the climate in the longer run, or what are the carbon emissions, CO2 emissions within the organizations, then product carbon footprints, what we are going to do, and how we are going to mitigate this problem, and then financial, environmental impact, climate change vulnerability, then talking about the natural resources, this natural gas, then the coal, etc., then water stress, which we are going to foresee within 30-40 years. It is going to be a crisis. Water is going to be a crisis. So how to reserve these and rejuvenate based on the environmental recycling methods. Then biodiversity and land use, raw material sourcing from the environmental aware companies. Then the pollution and waste, toxic emissions and waste, packaging material, and not using plastics, etc., which is going to affect our environment in a big way. Then electronic waste. We are talking about the battery storage system, lithium ion battery. These are going to be, if we go ahead for the renewables will be requiring more and more batteries. Then these batteries, then this waste generating out of these batteries will be a problem it is going to be a big problem in next 20-30 years. Then the environmental opportunities, what are the opportunities for the organization for developing the ecosystem, then opportunities in clean technology, opportunities in green building, even at the level of our own building, what we can do, deploy the solar panels, and then the green building, lesser use of air conditioning, all these things, and opportunities in renewable energy. So these are all the part of environmental pillar. And the social pillar comes related to, it is related to more of the employees and their health and safety issues, like human capital management, labor management. Are we giving enough place to relax, or the use of toilets, etc., all these things, health and safety issues, human capital development. This is the training aspects, how we going for learning and development of the employees and the stakeholders. Not only the employees, the stakeholders are all more important. Then the supply chain labor standards, product liability, product safety and quality, chemical safety, financial product safety. These are all the pillar related to safety aspects. Then what are the social opportunities, like in the case of environmental opportunity, what are the social opportunity for the organization, then the access to finance, communication, and health resources. And the third aspect is related to more or less related to governance on the board of directors and their issues, their independence, whether they are utilizing their uh, basic knowledge about the organizations or the knowledge about the environment in the organization's day-to-day working or not. So going next is what are the linkages of ecological intelligence with HR? So we have seen the ecological intelligence. What is the ecological intelligence? It is being more aware about the actions affecting the world around you. So what is the linkage with the HR? The ecological intelligence in HR plays key enabler for the organization's sustainable growth. HR policies can be designed in such a way that it will support the green HRM. So linkage of EI with HR is it can put forth various policies and practices that are viable for humans and nature. So whatever we are going to make the policy, new policies or the processes and HR processes, practices that will be aligned to green HRM. It can facilitate the conversation between top management and employees for a mutual collaboration of sustainable working practices. In few of the organizations, we have seen that the top management has given leverage to our employees for going for corporate social responsibility activities at least 2-3 hours in a week. Anytime. If they want, they can go for CSR activities anytime of their interest. And the corporation is facilitating those employees for enabling or facilitating those employees for achieving those CSR targets. These are the targets of not of the organization. These are the targets of the employees itself. So sometimes HR has to consider ecological issues beyond economic performance. That is the profit or is a turnover when operating a new path of sustainable business. What kind of paradigm shifts nowadays it has happened? The workplace is turning into learning environment. These are all having impact on the green HRM part or ecological intelligence part. The training is becoming more learning. Employee is becoming continuous learner. Engagement is learning opportunity. Manager has become coach and learner, and the team has become virtual team. Through this session is also being conducted through VC only. So the learning also has become virtual learning, and then the team has become virtual teams. A team member can be from any part of the globe, and they can join a common objective to achieve the goal or mission of the team. In this context, we have seen the globalization aspects, and some part of the country. Just a minute. Yeah. So in this context, globalization was happening, but nowadays, few of the countries they are getting local also. Like in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. So most of the product they want to produce in India itself. So globalization also happening in the case of services and use of intellectual capital, but localization happening in case of the products within the country. Then technology is of course enhancing day by day the transformation of the world to work. Digitization is happening, artificial intelligence is coming, then the blockchain, artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, all these things are being integrated in the industry 4.0. And I think in the previous session, we have discussed about the industry 5.0 also, where the humans will be working along with the robots and machines. Then the increased power of customers, more and more power is being given to customers for green development and the requirement of the customers for the green products. The knowledge and learning in the workplace is happening in this context. Is paradigm shift is happening. The changing roles and expectation of workers. They want immediate reward. They want immediate, basically get recognition and reward from the employer. The workplace diversity and mobility, which we discussed earlier also, a lot of inclusion of minority community and persons from various cultural backgrounds. Then the change and chaos and complex adaptive systems happening within the organizations and outside the organizations, and in case of takeover of the organizations. So there is alignment of these three P's in case of ecological intelligence: the people, the planet, and the profit. Of course, the profit is the main criteria, but it is these planet and people are also getting aligned to this profit for achieving the competitive sustainable advantages. So, in case of HRM, how to develop green organizational culture, assigning green duties to all employees by recalibrating HR key result areas. We can include these green duties in the KRAs of all the employees, and then assess the employees at the end of the whatever the cycle is. It is a 6 monthly or annual cycle. At the end, we can assess whatever the green duties the employees has gone for, and the aligning trainings on the pathways of green workplace managers. These are all becoming more and more important because there are growing concerns for sustainability for business across the globe. The organizations are pushed by environmentalists and social organizations or social pressure groups to showcase responsible behaviors. The businesses are expected to showcase more profound behaviors and outcomes pertaining to environmental well-being. So that's why the talk of the green HRM is becoming more and more important or imperative. It is not just enough to give better performance outcomes, but also to return back to the society, which will be environment friendly and all these things. Lot of pressure is also put on human resource management department or the organization to work on the developing green prospects and attitude to help organizations in enhancing its environmental performance. So what is green HRM? So green HRM denotes the human resource management activities that are focused on the environmental influences of the business and the green behaviors of the employees. That is two parts of it: the environmental influences of the business, what kind of influence we are making on the environment based on the business happenings or business processes and systems, and the green behaviors of the employees, whether the employees are behaving in the way advantageous to the environmental aspects. So the green HRM can have a long-term impact on the businesses. So going to next slide, a few examples of the ecological intelligence in HRM. These are 100% paperless HR processes, recruitment, performance management system, training, etc. If we talk about the power grid case, most of the HR processes are paperless, except in the case of HBA, this is house building advanced processing, where the law comes, actual documents are required, the mortgage and all these advanced papers. That only is the paper-based processing of HBA, but other processes are all paperless. And even in few cases, the finance is passing the bill based on the robotic process automation. That means if employee is claiming one claim related to suppose hospitality, it is going directly to finance, and then finance is also not any person is seeing in those processes. The robotic process automation, that the computer is passing the bill and sending the amount to the bank account directly. So in I think we got disconnected. Hello.
Yes, sir, you got this.
So should I share the screen again?
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
So I think we stopped at the point of performance management system. The performance management system for workmen, supervisors, and executives are all paperless. It is through system, ESS, SAP system. The employee and the controlling officer, reviewing officer, and then the accepting authorities all fill their appraisal online only. So no papers are involved. Similarly, in the training, organizational lead assessment takes place through computer only. The competency assessment, then individual employee training need assessment, all is happening through computer only. Even in the case of Power Grid, we have developed an online human resource development management system, which could not be replicated by SAP, and we'll have to forgo the that module of SAP. And we are going ahead with this online HRD management system developed in-house. The loans on electric vehicles at subsidized interest rates. This is the intervention we have given, the policy we have rolled out for giving subsidized interest rate for economic electric vehicles, so that more and more employees are encouraged to buy those vehicles. Then solar panel buildings, RSQ, most of the RSQs and townships are having solar panel buildings. And even at our corporate center also, we have at corporate office building the solar panels installed, and we are reducing the load to state electricity boards. Then a few more examples like plantation drive initiatives like Power Green. A lot of drives take place for the employees and the stakeholders. Those are residing nearby to our substations. Everybody is encouraged to plant the tree, and we have a database analysis system also, how many trees have been planted and how many employees they have gone for plantation drive. Everything is online system. Most of the meetings are now through Teams, as in the case of this training also. And then AV charging stations are being put up at corporate center, RHU. And the first test center was put, this first charging station was put in South area, and then Chandigarh also. A lot of AV charging stations have been installed by Power Grid. So what are the road aheads for the organizations? So more and more sensitization or awareness about the green initiatives and ecological intelligence to HR professionals. This is required to be done. It will be done through various training programs, then focus group discussion, and various meetings at the top level. Then rewarding green initiatives by employees. We have a system of Pratifal at corporate center. It's also a paperless system for rewarding the employees. We can include green initiatives taken by the employees, and then we can reward the employees accordingly. Then training calendar to have at least 5% of annual training is linked to green practices. More and more green practices to be encouraged among the employee, and we can have at least 5% training programs related to those practices. Then the link KRA can also be relooked to incorporate green HR practices as discussed earlier in the performance appraisal system. First, the KRA related to green practices, and now the learning KRA can also be incorporated in the KRA system. We can see the comparison between PSUs and green practices. What kind of green practices we can have in the organizations? Few of the green practices are enumerated here also, but we can have just like a green recruitment. What is green recruitment? Green recruitment is organization's ability to attract and recruit individuals that have willingness of and dedication for green behaviors. So we are going to recruit the persons who are more and more aware about the green practices. So that is called the green recruitment. Businesses can go green in terms of their HRM through starting with green recruitment and selection. Then that could be a starting point. And then when employees are given the significance to enhance their environmental awareness and how they can work with a green approach to training and development, that will help employees to improve their pro-environmental performance, which ultimately enhances organizational environmental performance or environmental along with the environmental performance, the bottom line of the organization. So these are the green practices like using web or teleconferencing to cut down business travels. Here we can see most of the organizations are having this teleconferencing facilities and web conferencing thanks to COVID-19 also for accelerating this process. One organization they are going to implement it, I think NMDC, probably by this time they would have implemented also. In IRI, NL, because this paper was published, I think 6-7 months back. So IRI, NL also they have gone for teleconference facilities for business to cut down business travels. Then putting SPD or other company information online to reduce printing, like publishing of magazine or coffee table magazines, or when in case of Power Grid it is communique. These are all becoming online. No paper magazines are being published. So in most of the organizations, we can see the magazines are online only, except in case of HAL and NMDC, they are still going for published magazines. Even in case of Power Grid also, though it is at the corporate center, it is online, but in the regions, some of the regions, they are publishing the paper magazines at present also. And then wellness programs on proper fitness, nutrition, and healthy living. These are the things you can see in Power Grid. It is already exist. A lot of talks by the Vedanta doctors, Fortis doctors, or the experts of wellness programs. It's happening. Most of the regions are conducting the yoga sessions and the well-being sessions and their nutrition related sessions for the employees. So offering opportunities for employees to telework or work from home. We also have work from home guidelines, and some in few of the cases like where we can allow employees to telework, we are allowing them to telework. But in case of our substations and transmission line maintenance, that the work from home is not possible, so we cannot go for that. But in wherever the work permits, we are allowing the work from home at the present situation. Then green newsletter or green articles columns as part of the newsletter. It's happening in Power Grid, and in few of the organizations is going to implement within 12 months. Then training program for employees on green practices. It's started in Power Grid. In NLC also, BHEL, RINL, all the organizations are going ahead with the programs on green practices. Then focus on environmentally responsible investment options. Investment options, they are not sure, HL are not sure about that, and RINL are not sure that. What are the investment options, or are we going to return on investment, going to get return on investment or not? Few of the questions are being asked by the finance managers, but in long run, they can see the sustainability aspects and the SDG requirement, all these things. So they are going ahead, and they're even the finance persons are allowing the organizations to go ahead with the sustainability reporting and the activities related to sustainable development. The recruitment employees with green skills and experience. Most of the organizations are lacking at present in this aspect. As discussed earlier also, the green employees are more aware about the green aspects of the environmental friendly aspects of the organizations. Even in case if we can see the employees green or green recruitment has taken place, if the employees are more aware about the products and processes which are green, even at the level of personal, that means at the family level or personal requirement level, if the employee is more aware about the green products, product is not coming through a manufacturing plant which applies the child labor. These are all kind of awareness when the employee is getting the product from the right sources, which are all having the healthy labor practices and the environmental green practices. So a lot of road to go ahead in this case of recruitment of green employees. But I think we'll start very soon on these aspects also. They can take up any questions on this till now. Is there any question?
In fact, Dr. Dwivedi, I was getting questions on my WhatsApp because some people in the other part of the world are still half asleep. So she wanted to know what is PSUs. So second one, she wanted to know what is RINL.
What is the first question? What is PSUs?
PSUs, what is PSUs?
Public sector undertaking. Okay. These are the enterprises of Government of India and apart, not the core central government organization, but they have given a kind of autonomy to work on these organizations, and they have autonomy to for growth, then basically use of resources and use of money among the organizations itself.
And there is another person who is asking what is RINL. RINL is something to do with railway or rural electrification or what?
RINL is related to, I think it is railways. It is a joint venture of railway and Ispat Nigam Limited, I think.
Okay. And third one is you have used one acronym SPD. Some of the participants want to know what is that SPD. You know, in your slide, point number 2, putting SPD or other company information online to reduce printing.
SPD here it refers to a strategic product design.
Okay.
Strategic product design. In this case, it is more or less related to communication aspects of the company. Strategic product design related to media. In this slide.
Okay, and one person wanted to know that why the term power green has been used.
Okay,
Because
in the previous slide. Okay.
yeah, so I mean,
Power Green is a name coined by the organization for the plantation drive. So because Power Grid, it is related to Power Grid. I have not written the name of organization, but it is related to Power Grid. So from Power Grid, we have taken power, and then Green Initiative. It is a green initiative. That's why we given the name of the initiative as a Power Green.
and last question that I got from Exeter University, UK is what is the shortcoming of teleconferencing?
Shortcomings are many. There are research paper also on the shortcomings of the teleconferencing facilities. The social connect between the two persons, it's missing in this teleconferencing. Though we give opportunities to the attendees or the persons attending through VC to connect themselves on personal level also through this these PC facilities or syndicate rooms, but that connect is not happening, which we connect through a cup of tea or coffee across the person.
So these were the questions that I had received so far. And I think that there is no other question. I will ask the systems people to give me update, because these were the questions that had been sent by participants on my WhatsApp. Now, systems people were also recording some of the questions. I think I'm going to get a couple of them from them as well. You know, I am not.
In case you get questions later on also, you can post it to me and then I'll give the answer through mail. No problem.
This is the last one in this series. I'm getting, and then I'll read it out to you, so that of course once they are they want to reconnect with you, they can have your email ID. So the question is how to ensure the balance between generating power for electrical vehicles and burning the fuel. EV charging stations, in your case study, is provided by Power Grid, isn't it?
Yes.
Now,
many organizations, even NTPC is also going for EV charging stations, and few other organizations are also going for it.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know.
What exactly is the question?
Question is how to ensure balance between generating power for electric vehicles and in this process burning the fuel. I mean, I think what she means is fossil fuel. Because
fossil fuels. Okay. Do you know that fossil fuel is it's a depleting resources. It's going to reduce it to a bare minimum in next 40-50 years. So we'll have to switch over to renewable energy resources like solar energy or hydrogen energy, or even the battery charge stations, all these things. So at present there has to be a balance, because in few cases like Ola scooter, we have seen the battery being exploded or thing. So more and more R&D is required for these kind of batteries, and later on how to how to this battery, when a lot of batteries will be there in the marketing system or marketing ecosystem. So how to basically wastage of these batteries, how to go ahead with that, how to environmental friendly way. You'll have to devise an environmental friendly way to basically for battery wastage, what you can see, what you tell is wastage management system. Wastage management system, battery wastage management system.
I mean, I'll not take much of your time. I've got a question from Assumption University, Bangkok. That India is generating power by using fossil fuel. When you have got the largest solar farm in Badala, Rajasthan, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Glasgow had made an appeal to the international community that one sun, one solar grid. Is there any update there? I don't know whether this question relates to you or not, but then this is what I have received from her, so I thought I should bring you to your kind notice.
Definitely, we have one of the biggest solar panel system or solar plants also, but our requirement is also huge. So we cannot take care of our requirement only based on the solar system or wind turbine management systems. So we'll have to go for this thermal plants and hydel plants are of course not a problem. This is kind of renewable energy only. But in case of thermal plants, we'll have to meet our demand, and then phases we can. In few years, we can phase out these thermal plants and increase our solar plant capacities.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to take any more questions because people are so much enthusiastic after going through your session that they were, they're asking the questions as if you were the power minister of the country. So you could answer all the questions. As of now, I'm not going to take it. So on behalf of the participants, of those who are awake, logged in, or mute and sleeping, or whatever it is, on behalf of the fraternity known as World University, and on my personal behalf, I am thankful to you. I'm indebted to you because you are by far the best person whom I could catch hold of, who is answering the questions related with technology, because your IIT Roorkee background is helping you. Then your NITI is helping you in making paperless and things like that. And then your Ph.D, MBA in management is again helping you in a big way. So huge thank you on behalf of the participants, on behalf of the World University, and on my personal behalf. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. You are welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you all the participants. Thank you very much.